Hello again, folks. Tonight I thought I'd reward all my regular listeners out there, you hardcore fans, with a recap of some of our, let's call them our most interesting moments since the big you-know-what, about 2 years ago now. I think it was 2 years ago. Though I guess if I'm being fully honest, I don't exactly know how many days have passed, but I don't see myself getting into an argument with anyone about what day it is, or month. For all I know, Christmas could have been yesterday. It could be Christmas today. In fact, hello listeners, welcome to this special Christmas broadcast. I hope everyone out there is cozy in their various states of decay or disintegration, or desperate loneliness, if you are unlucky enough to be alive. I'm with all of you in spirit, and I do hope my voice reaches you. And boy, would I'd give to argue with any one of you about what day it might be. This is No Hope Radio. So you might notice that I've left the obvious off our top 10. Me finding this little radio station, deciding to settle here when I got the generator and equipment finally up and running. That stuff's a given. And this wasn't the easiest list to put together. I mean, when a day consists of, unfortunately, waking up, saying good morning to Mrs. Mop. She's always up before me, leaning there in the corner. Inventory of fuel and supplies, melting snow, melting more snow. Frozen wolf or raccoon for breakfast, lunch, dinner. The point is, novelty hasn't come by for a visit too often here in this Southern California tundra. Nevertheless, there have been some moments I found worthy of noting, which I hope you can appreciate. But first, let's hear something from our sponsor. This is No Hope Radio. Number 10. That time when Mrs. Mop fell over and I almost blew her to pieces with the Mossberg. Nice waste of a shot there, Noah. And that's how the bathroom got its peephole. Number 9. The week I was fortifying this place, working up on the roof, and I jammed that hammer right into my thumb. Ugh, did that one hurt. Especially when it swelled up to the size of a wolf's liver, and then it, of course, had to get infected, and, well, I won't be using this hand for hitchhiking anytime soon anyway. Number 8. Those 2 days I went vegan. Number 7. When the running water finally stopped. I guess I was lucky enough to have it running for so long in the first place. I'll say this. You do get to know a bit more about yourself when your BMs can no longer go for that magic flume ride out of sight. You know, I probably should have put this one at number 2. Opportunity missed. Number 6. When Mrs. Mop and I had our first kiss. That was a lovely evening. Though since then we've decided to stay friends. And I do believe it's for the best. Number 5. The time I thought those chunks of ice being thrown at the main door by crazy winds was someone trying to get in. Nature playing a little knock-knock joke on me. Good one. Number 4. You might remember the time when... Okay. Well, the winds are calm tonight, so I'm not exactly sure what that could be. I do apologize, listeners, about this little interruption during our show, but we may very well have a live one outside. For those of you who've been with me, you can gather that fact is not a small one. The lines are open for your guesses as to who this anonymous traveler might be. Call in, I'd love to hear from you. It's been a long while since I've been in contact with a living person, but I'm certainly well aware of the risk of opening up the station to a stranger. At the same time, my heart palpitates like chattering teeth at the thought of finally seeing another human face. A man, a woman, a child maybe. Maybe more than one person. Awfully slim chances of that, but wouldn't that be something? In any case, I've grown tired of the taste of frozen wolf and raccoon, if you catch my drift. I'm only kidding, of course. Well, this is some rare excitement here on the show tonight. It's even got Mrs. Mop going. She's fallen over again. I do find myself in a bit of a pickle here. I can open the hatch at the risk of vulnerability to a number of threats, or I can open it to a potential companion, a confidant, a fellow soul just seeking shelter, somewhere to cook food for the night, just as I was. And just as I fell asleep that particular night, trusting the one who was here, he said he just wanted a taste of something fresh. I don't blame him. Perhaps we might have been friends in another time. Speaking of, I think I've decided what I'm going to do, so why don't we just take a little break? This is No Hope Radio. And we're back. Well, listeners, kind of embarrassing this, but there was nobody outside. I'm not quite sure if I'm happy about this fact or sad. All I can do, of course, is go on with the show. Number 4. You might remember the time when Mrs. Mop surprised us all with her new pixie cut. I didn't really care for it then, but I've come to realize the style does suit a longer face. Number 3. Who can forget that day I just couldn't stop sneezing? Number 2. When I succumbed to my curiosity and finally tried a piece of my predecessor. You know, some might say the way he waited till I was asleep and betrayed the trust we'd clearly established was a bit... Well, I'll just say he didn't taste like a chicken. Brings us to our number 1 moment thus far, which was that afternoon several months ago when I saw the airplane, way up there in the stratosphere, floating by like some obese comet. For the first time since the event, it gave me a warm sense of hope. A sense of hope that, of course, faded away quite quickly when the plane exploded. And there you have it for our top 10. I apologize again, folks, for the earlier interruption. This is probably a good time to confess that since I arrived here at the station, I've occasionally suffered from what seemed to be auditory hallucinations. I was hoping it wasn't true, but tonight seems to illustrate otherwise. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the awful knocks to the head and that struggle I had with my famished friend. These little bouts, they're rare, but they started soon after that night. A range of noises, sometimes it's banging, sometimes ringing. Once I swear I heard Mrs. Mop whistling Yankee Doodle Dandy from the corner, which is odd, obviously. She insists she doesn't know how to whistle. You know, I read somewhere once about a syndrome that can come about for some when the inner ear begins to deteriorate. Their brain tricks them into hearing phantom music, but not just any music. This condition unlocks tunes that were stored in memory. Melodies connected to moments in their life, caught in a fishnet of neurons and released in euphony that only that person can hear. Which makes me wonder what pieces of music lurk in my old net up there, and what memories might be wriggling in that darkness with them. Maybe that's something we explore next time. Until then, listeners,